What's going on? Welcome, y'all. Welcome to the 411 podcast. Tonight, we have Michelle coming in from the Looking Glass podcast. Welcome on in. Thank you so much for joining. And go ahead and tag your friends and let them know what we got going on inside the 411 podcast tonight. It is Tuesday, December 28th. We almost closing it out. Welcome to the 411. Aspire to Fly, what's going on? Kitty 1681, what is going on? And Geneva out there on TikTok, thank you for joining. Can I just say, I want to say what's up to everybody out there on Facebook. What's going on, y'all? How are y'all doing out there tonight? Y'all definitely showed up last night. I appreciate y'all. All right, so now we're going to get into the song of the day. So now, song of the day is Private Show by Pink, released in 2000 off of her album Can't Take Me Home. So I just want to know, is there anybody out there that just wants you just for a private show? Ain't nothing going on. Y'all just handle things when you handle things, and it's just basically a little private show going on. I don't know. You might need to listen to that Pink record. For some reason, I've been on that Can't Take Me Home album. I don't know what's going on. I just thought of it, started playing it, and I think I've been spinning that uh, album for about maybe a week now. But Private Show by Pink, the original Pink that I love, first album, 2000, Can't Take Me Home, Private Show. Nah, maybe sometimes you just gotta let them know that maybe if you wasn't such a nasty, y'all know how the song go. If you don't, go ahead and check it out. Pink, Private Show off of the Can't Take Me Home album, 2000, song of the day. So I just want to say we're gonna have a good show tonight. I got Michelle coming in from the Looking Glass, and I got some great burning questions for everybody out there tonight. We're gonna heat it up a little bit, not too much, but we're gonna heat it up a little bit. So you definitely want to stick around for this. But I just want to say what's up to everybody out there. I think I see Mr. Will out there. What's going on? Everybody out there, thank you so much for the love and support. People out there on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, D Live, Twitch, all of the people who watch the replays. You come back the next day. I definitely want to say what's up and thank you so much for checking in. I had a great show last night. Scott from Hey You Guys podcast was on. We were talking about, 80s and, early 90s, and we're talking about Double Dare. And I just cracked up because, as a kid, for me anyway, one of the biggest things was to get on that Double Dare show. You used to get into your mind and dream when you're watching TV and stuff like, oh, I can't wait. That'd be great for my family to get on there. But the first thing is, are they going to be able to answer the questions the right way? I didn't even get into that because you know how sometimes you don't know if your family going to be the one to mess it up. That's the one thing. And the second thing, are they going to be able to handle all of those physical challenges and run and do the damn, course? You don't want to be that family that's embarrassed because, your dad can't keep up or whatever. You need a real fit family to, handle that show. But then the thing that had me cracking up is before we even get into all of that, we're not even doing that because what black mom that was going to go on Double Dare and get their hair messed up? Pies thrown all in the face. First of all, you throw a pie in my mom's face any type of wear, it's going to be a problem. There ain't going to be no throwing of pies, no slime, none of that shit. So I knew that as a kid, all of the dreams and hopes of, Double Dare, you go to Orlando, you want to go to Disney, you think you're going to slide in and get on Double Dare. Mm-mm. That shit wasn't happening in my household. So now, some families, they got it like that. I don't know. But this black household, you ain't throwing no pies and shit all over the place and slime. So I just was cracking up. What ladies out there, what black families out there are going to allow, if it came back, if it was here today and Double Dare was out there, do you believe that we would have some good representation out there on that show? I don't think so. But what's up to Scott from Hey You Guys podcast? We had a great time going through, all of those questions and stuff and all the TV shows. Y'all definitely want to go ahead and check out that podcast. I want to say what's up to my cousin Chanel. Thank you so much for representing me, since day one. Always, hanging out there with me. I appreciate you for that. Jason T. Davis, all the way from Los Angeles, California. Lash Maverick Essentials, what's going on? Thank you for checking me out as well. Switch Thrift Clothing Company. Danny from My Survivor podcast. That's another great replay. Only a couple days ago. It was last week. Check out that replay. Definitely was on point. Danielle from Posh and Pretty Brow Bar, all the way from Texas. Thank you for continuously checking out. Shea Heaven, Nordia from Shea Heaven. Dan Gallardo, author Dan Gallardo. What's up? Thank you for checking me out as well. My girl Kay Cole from Karma's Paradise. And Miss Rebel Jewel, all the way from the UK. What's going on? We have Miss Carol Cordera in the building from Florida tonight. How have you been? So now last night I had asked a very simple question. What's going on, K. Cole? How are you? K. Cole from Karma's Paradise. So I had asked a very simple question because I got a problem. I've learned that I cannot sit in the back seat of a car because when I sit in the back seat of a car, I really will start to feel nauseous and sick and all of that craziness. When I was telling somebody this story, they told me it's a control issue. And then I think about it, when I'm in the passenger seat, it's not a good look either. Because if someone tailgates and all that crap, or however you call it, I don't know what you call it, but if they just do too much and slamming on the brakes and it's all of this, you're going to see me like freak out a little bit. So I can't handle that. So my question is, do you get anxious? Is it just me or is it you? Does anybody else out there get anxious? Anyone feel, a little nauseous or sick if you're not the person driving? Someone said it's a control thing. I don't know, but as I continue to get older, I will not be sitting in no back seats because I do not feel right at all. Sometimes I, be on my phone scrolling through stuff, and I thought, oh, maybe it's because you're looking at your phone and the car is moving and it ain't, good. Put the phone down. I put the phone down and I'm still feeling a little like, this is not a good situation. So I don't know how you feel about that situation. I know for me, I can't do it. Call it control issue, call it whatever you want. I most certainly cannot do it. Will not, cannot.
Hello.
What's going on? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. I am good. Welcome to the 411 podcast. So
Glad to be here.
I got a question for you. So now, are you able to drive in the passenger seat, sit in the passenger seat, or do you have to be in control when you're driving?
I am a control freak. I'm working on that. It does make me anxious when other people are driving because I am giving control of my life to somebody else and their abilities. So even though I can, I don't like it.
That is true. I remember one time somebody told me you need to go to sleep. I said, oh, hell no, because if I go to sleep, my ass ain't going to wake up.
Right.
Yeah, it was not right at all.
I need to at least see it coming.
It was not good at all. It was raining. I think we were coming back from down south somewhere, and all this slamming on the brake and back and forth, and I'm feeling like, my life is flashing before my eyes, and They had a nerve to say, well, just go to sleep. Hell no. I thought if I go to sleep, my ass ain't never gonna wake up. This ain't working.
Right.
All right, well, at least I know I'm not the only one. Uh, Karma's Paradise says maybe I should take some motion sickness pills.
Hmm. No, but that doesn't stop the need for control. Because I'm not nauseated when somebody's driving. I'm just like making sure they're hitting the brakes at the right time, the right distance between cars. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Now, yeah, that's the thing that gets me when I'm up front. When people don't distance, I don't think I get so much sick up front, but literally, like in the back seat, yeah, I do get sick. I start to feel a certain way.
oh, I've never done the back seat though. Maybe
Sure.
that's why. I'm
Yeah,
always in the front.
maybe that's what it is. That's so. Carol says if I'm reading or drawing, I get car sick, but when I want to draw, I force myself, and I notice that sometimes I can control it. I guess it's all in your mind.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the back seat anymore.
I can't remember the last time I rode in the back seat.
Hmm.
Huh. I literally will just drive a whole nother car before I
Now,
do that.
now I'm wondering what's going to happen when they have these cars, these self-driving cars, because I've heard that in certain areas, you call yourself an Uber or Lyft, whatever, and it pulls up and it's nobody in the car because it's automated or whatever you call it. Now you have to sit in the back seat for that. I wonder how that experience is going to be. That's probably going to be off the chain if I have to sit in the back seat knowing that ain't nobody driving the car but a computer.
Yeah, and computers have malfunctions, and
Oh,
there's not a human overriding if it does start to malfunction. So what do you do with that?
I don't know. I bet it goes just slow and smooth. I would assume. What do I know?
We would hope. We would hope.
What's going on, Mr. Nate Perry from Brooklyn, New York? Thank you for joining in. All right, so now the question is, where are you calling from?
I'm over here in sunny South Carolina, right outside of Charleston.
That's what's up. Now, maybe I should write it down because I know halfway through the show I'm going to ask you again, and I'm probably going to say it's North Carolina. For some reason, when people from the Carolinas come on the show, man, I just can't remember which one you're from.
Well, North Carolinas are more important, more popular brethren, so I get that all the time.
Hmm. Now, why would you say that?
North Carolina just has a lot more going on, you know. I mean, sports wise, technology wise, opportunity wise, they just got a lot more going on in South Carolina. So
Well, that's
I
crazy
can,
because it's right next
yeah,
door. That is insane. Hmm. So you got a podcast, the Looking
I
Glass
do.
podcast. Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So, relationships through the looking glass is just that. It's focused on relationships, more specifically, focusing on people of color and how to unify and bridge the divide between um, women and men who, the society has done a lot to separate us.
Mm.
So, yeah, our podcast is basically built on bringing us together and talking about concepts, topics, and issues that you will hear us complain about. And
Mm.
it's like, if you don't have both parties at the table to have a discussion, that's
Mm.
all it is complaining. You
Mm.
have to have both parties at the table if you're going to get to a resolution. And that is the goal, to get some resolution so we can have better, authentic relationships.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Give me some examples.
Absolutely. So this past season, we focused on trauma and how trauma has impacted relationships, trauma that people don't discuss that happen in our lives, and trauma that people know about but just haven't healed from. And when you bring those wounds into relationships, you're breeding or you're starting a relationship in ground that's not fertile and not ready for growth.
Mm.
So we talked about what trauma bonds are. We talked about how domestic violence impacts relationships, how mental health issues impact relationships. Because if we don't have these conversations and we don't bring awareness to them, we're not going to get anywhere with the resolution and trying to get to a better result for both parties. So that was really our focus for this season. The looking glass self theory is what we based all of our topics on, and that's basically how people interact with their environment based on what they feel is acceptable by the masses.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are having an issue with a mental health challenge, there's a stigma around it. So instead of actually doing anything about it, you act like you don't have it, or you try to self medicate or do things to lessen it on your own. But those will have impacts. Those behaviors have impacts on relationships, and it can prevent you from having a healthy one. So those are just some areas that we focus on and we look on to have conversations about and around, so we can help not just the participants who are listening, but anybody who interacts with the people who listen, because they're learning different techniques and tools so they can better their relationships.
I think one of the biggest things that we focus on, or that we don't focus on, is the tie between domestic violence and mental health issues.
Oh, yes,
Um,
absolutely.
one comes with the
Absolutely.
other. In most cases,
Yep.
one comes with the other. And it's so easy for us to go through some of these things and we put on this armor, like, all right, that's cool. We went through it as a child, we saw it, it is what it is, what it is. And then you grow up and you have some issues and you don't understand why, because you just brushed it off. You just act like that stuff didn't happen. Back in the
Or that it's
day,
normal.
I guess that was normal. And, but, as the generations continue to evolve, people started to speak out and say, hey, listen, I got an issue, because that is not normal. That might have been normal for y'all in the 60s, 70s, whatever. But, you know, as we get into the 80s, 90s, and beyond, that's just not acceptable anymore. So, but it's one without the other. And typically, some of the females, they had to endure a lot of pain, and in some cases, they still do. But I guess one of the most profound thing is to have a man. I don't know if you've had a man come on your show and actually speak about, these topics and how mental health ties into that, and so it can help some of the brothers coming up, because I think that's so important.
Well, each episode, and that's the basis of the podcast, was me and my co-creator, who's male. We wanted to have a podcast that was a balanced expression of whatever it was we were talking about. So every single episode has a man, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
multiple men, to
Mm-hmm.
talk about the discussion, because we have to bring both people, we have to bring both
Yeah,
parties to
like
the
what you were saying,
table.
both parties to the table.
Right, exactly. And I'm telling you, I've learned so much in the past 8 to 9 months, just by providing a safe environment to show a vulnerability where we can have these discussions. I've learned so much just by listening, and that's where I felt that some other podcasts might have been getting it, might needed to tweak it a little bit, because if you have all females just complaining about what men do, but
Mm-hmm.
no men coming to give their perspective, what are we really doing? Are we really getting anywhere? Or are we just complaining? So that was the element that I really wanted to make sure I had, that we had the male perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and not just having male perspective, but allowing them to speak and be honest about what they were feeling was the game changer. It's not about who's right, who's wrong, judging and pointing fingers. It's about, here's how we are perceiving this. How are you all perceiving it? And where's the misunderstanding, the disconnect, and what we need to do together to bring everything on the same page.
Mm, sounds good. Can you tell me one of your most, or I guess a highlight from this past season?
Yeah, the episode about domestic violence in the Black community um, was crazy informative, because our topics are very dense. There's a lot of research that has to go on before we bring it on air, so we can present it in a way that's digestible for many.
Mm-hmm.
And the research that just brought up how many people are murdered within our community as a result of domestic violence, it was it was terrifying. Like I knew it was a large number, but the numbers were astounding to
Mm.
where for a black female, the most dangerous person statistically is a black
That's
man.
terrible. That is absolutely
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, and I mean it was a really jagged pill to swallow, but we have to have these discussions, and we can't act like this stuff isn't happening.
Now, see if we did some sort of advertisement, some PSAs on that type of stuff. I think that will probably open up, some, not everybody, but it'll open up the door and open up some eyes. But there's a reason why that stuff is not being put out there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, mm, that's a shame. So, what were some of more learnings from that episode? I mean, that's one. That's I just learned something right now. I didn't know that was the case.
Yeah, yeah, and some other areas that we kind of focused on was kind of unpackaging why we thought that was, and we were able to kind of dig down all the way down to slavery times and how families were ripped apart and how men were made to experience different things and females were, I mean, we were really able to get down to the historic impact of what slavery has. And then just the concepts of how we are presented in society, how the black community is presented in our own communities, and kind of looking at different ways we can address it. So it wasn't just talking about the issue. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about the issue, but we also provided tools and resources on what needs to really kind of be occurring so we can turn this around. And
Mm-hmm.
that's having a conversation. That's talking to your peers when you see something. That's educating people to understand what's healthy and what's not healthy and what to do to move forward when you're experiencing certain things. So it wasn't just highlighting the concern and the issue, it was also giving actionable items on what you can do to address it in your own communities.
I know you said you went back and talked about one of the root causes might have been, slavery and stuff, how the families were separated. You would think that that would pull people together.
You
Based
would
off of what we've
think,
been
yes.
through, we're here now. Let's build something bigger and better than what we had before. You would think that. Hmm, something. Um, Question, which I'm not sure if it came up on your show or not. The way that the female is portrayed in society today. Have you had discussions about that?
We have
Now,
most of the discussions were coming from the males who would come, the men who would come and talk and give us their perspective of what they're seeing and what they're experiencing and what that looks like for them. And it was and that has happened on almost every episode. So that's like an ongoing theme, and that's why I'm very appreciative for the males and the men who have come on to have their discussion and to be very open about this type of these topics because it's allowing people to learn and hear and not in a clickbaitish everything
mm,
is a joke type of environment, but a very serious conversation for
mhm.
people who have mature minded um, ways to want to actually address some of these things. So yeah, we have talked about that on multiple episodes. Um, and even talking, and there was one about the flags, red flags, green flags of relationships, and we learned a lot about how the female is perceived in different ways from the men and the
Ooh,
males in the
I want to
community.
hear. I want to hear all about that. I want to go ahead and read this comment here from Sweet Bakes Couture. Says our upbringing of not telling family business or what happens in your house stays
Yes,
in this house, especially these types of
absolutely,
issues. That thing really
absolutely.
gets on my nerves. I can't stand when I hear what happens in this house stays in this house because Not that you want to go ahead and tell all your business. There's a time and place for everything. But another thing that really gets on my nerves too, that I just could not stand growing up as a child, stay in a child's place.
Yes.
Now, I know some of my friends and some people that I got linked up with. I used to be like, damn, well, where the hell were you at? Because somebody needed to tell you to stay in a child's place because you're just doing just a little bit too much. But that type of statement is not for every single child and every single person. You can actually stifle, a child's growth, or you can stifle a whole bunch of situations by just, saying blanket statements like that. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So talk about these flags here. What's
So
going
the
on there?
wonderful flags, wonderful flags. Some of the flags that I remember that stood out that the gentleman was speaking about were females that they had interacted with that would be very loud and aggressive,
Mm,
that would make up storylines in their own head and accuse their partners of things that they didn't have any proof of having. There, a red flag also that they brought up were people blaming or looking at their current or new partner and holding them accountable for things that have happened to them in the past.
mm.
That was a big one, and not being able to separate the two and making the statements that all men are the same. Um, Not being able to hold themselves accountable when things happen, or and then I think the biggest one though was the lack of
Oh
communication
yeah,
skills that we're seeing.
yeah, yeah. Here's one thing that tripped me up, and I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. I made a mistake and I went and linked up with somebody who was very untrustworthy. It was just a bad situation. Like, it was just bad. Just put it that way. It was just straight up bad. I had no business getting into that situation. All of the looks and all of that was great, and that's what linked me to that individual. So fast forward, get out of that situation. I get into a new situation, but I explain what had happened. Now here's the problem. After I explain what happened, I'm giving you a clean slate. So now if you start to do things that remind me of what somebody else did, that's a problem. I think there's a big difference doing it that way versus, oh, I'm blaming you for what somebody else did to me. No, I'm not going to cuss tonight, but no, you're doing the same shit, if not anything. You know what I'm saying? To remind
Right.
me of that stuff. And you're starting to take me to a whole nother level. I can't be held accountable for that. So I just say people be very careful to too. Don't automatically make the same mistake, right? Go down that same street, meet that same type of person, and then blame the person for, what happened. That's a whole nother situation. But when you confide in somebody and you tell them what's going on and they turn around and they do some of the same stuff, eh, that's something
Yeah,
totally
that's a
different.
problem. That's
You
a
know,
problem.
just don't stay. That's the problem. You can't stay and stop trying to change people because I tried to stay and tried to change. And remember, I told you what this person did and why are you, reminding me of the same stuff. That's that sign. You want to talk about flags? That's that sign right there in the
Absolutely.
beginning. And you need to get out of that situation immediately.
Right when you see it. Right
Mm,
when you see it. Especially if you bring it up. If you bring it up and you have the discussion, that one or two things is going to happen. There's going to be behavior changes,
mm,
not just words, but actually change in behavior, and or there's not. And when that person presents themselves to you, it's up to you to say, okay, am I going to deal with this or am I going to leave? And if you choose to stay, like you said, then whatever happens, really, there's going to be blame on you for staying because this person is showing you who they are.
that is so true. That is absolutely so true. I think we elevate once we realize that we can't blame people. Like, all right, you got into a situation. I know it's rough. Your self esteem might have been in the toilet, whatever the situation may be. But when you look up 5, 10 years from now and you're not where you need to be because you've been with this disrespectful person and you're going back and forth and fighting and this and that, yeah, that person is no good. Well, what role do you play and why did you stay? And then when it's all said
Exactly.
and done, don't be running around saying how this person did that to you and it was so horrible and this and that. No, you actually did that to yourself.
Exactly. And that's a hard pill to swallow for some people because there's individuals who are like, well, maybe if I do this or I do that, they will change. But you can't change
Mm-mm.
somebody else. And I think when people realize that, then they'll have an understanding. You can't change somebody else. You can only adjust and change your behaviors, and that's it.
If I had known that when I was younger and it was beat into my head and drilled into my head 1,000 times, man, I'd be so good. But I guess it's part of the process and we all got to go through certain things like that.
Hmm.
But for anybody out there, first time around hearing something like this, just understand and know that you can't change anybody. The only thing that you can change is yourself and just take responsibility for yourself and remove yourself from a situation if it's not good. And it's okay to do that.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all. They're going to talk about you, they're going to say all kinds of stuff, but it's all right. Just like they say, this too shall pass and you will be okay. Trust and believe time heals everything.
That's right.
Wow. All right. So let us know where we can go ahead and check out your podcast. I know you have something new, exciting coming out next year, right? Yeah, in a couple weeks it's going to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Yep. So to find us, the quickest way is going to be on our website, and that's www.thelookingglass.fans, FANS, fans. But we are also on Instagram and Facebook under the Looking Glass podcast, where you'll get more engagement and kind of get to know the host a little bit. We're very different. So it's me and I have two co-hosts, Keisha and Nicole. Very different personalities, but it blends so well together to allow us to talk about these topics from different perspectives. So definitely check us out and keep your eyes open. We have some new stuff coming up in the next few weeks, some new voices joining the team. So that's
Mm,
always exciting as well.
that's what's up. And you've been doing this for how many years now?
So actually, the Looking Glass is only a year old. Will be a year old on the 26th of January. So the Looking Glass is really she's still a baby.
Okay. I don't know why for some reason I thought you were doing this for a long time. I mean, that is a
Yeah,
long
a lot
time,
of
but
people say that. So
yeah.
uh, yeah, I guess we just we have that presence. Maybe I don't know.
So now, how often do the episodes come out?
We post weekly, so
Okay.
every Sunday there's a new episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot of work and preparation into all of that. So good luck with everything, and I can't wait to check out this new season.
Thank you.
So now that we're on this topic, I I have to tell everybody who watches the 4-1 podcast that come January, when I go into my second um, season of this whole podcasting thing here, we're going to sort of put these relationship issues to rest. Because, I think we've been speaking about them for a year plus, and some months. Some people might be feeling a little, tired of it. So we're going to move on because we need to elevate and we don't want to, continue down this broken record. But since you're on here and it just fits so well, we going to go right on in, give everybody one last, hurrah with all of this here. So when it comes to relationships and marriages and all of that great stuff, why do you think that we've seen a big surge in divorces and stuff right when the pandemic hit? COVID-19 comes, everybody wants to jump and file for divorce. Why didn't they pull the trigger before?
Okay, here is my answer. When people had to be quarantined with that individual for that length of time, they really got to know their partner. Like they really got to know their
Mm,
partner. And I think maybe some of the challenges and some of the things that they might have been in denial about or were able to get away from by going on business trips, by being at work, by going to a friend's house, going to hang out other places, that
Mm-hmm.
was all taken away. Because I mean, if you work 40 hours a week, you're away from that person for a good chunk of time, and then the other chunk of time you're sleeping. So you really only have a handful of hours per day. Now you're with that person all the time. So it was kind of like, I feel, this is my opinion, that people just really got to see the partner for who they are and decided that it's a wrap. Like, I can't do this.
Mm.
It's kind of like in the military when people come back from deployments and whatnot. And it's like, oh, this is who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's rough too. And
who am I married to?
my thing is, do you really get to know your mate? I mean, I get y'all been together for however long, but do you really, really, really get to know your mate?
And I think the pandemic and the lockdowns really kind of showed some people that no, they really didn't.
Mm.
Like I
Right.
can't. Like if you leave the toilet seat up one more freaking time, like do you have to chew like that? Could you close your mouth when you're
That's
eating? Like I
terrible.
think it really just got.
That that is terrible. Rain Toy Box, what's going on all the way from Philadelphia? They stay because of fear of being alone. Well, I think that the pandemic scared the hell out of people. They didn't know what the hell was going to happen with this damn COVID-19. No one has ever experienced anything shut down like that in their lifetime. So they were like, listen, am I really going to die? I know we said till death do us part, but do I really want to end this like this? Or am I going to go ahead and just, you know, take a plunge and jump and see what else is out there? Because if this is it, hell, and I'm going to end like this ain't going to work for me. I need to see what else is out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I feel people have done. Like this, all hell breaking loose, and this is what I'm going to have to deal with till the end. Man, hell, you done lost your job, you locked down, you quarantine. What else you got to lose? It is what it is. You've been telling this brother, you've been telling this sister for the longest time to get it together, and they just can't, and they ain't showing no signs of improvement. Hell, we done lost everything to begin with. What's the point? Let's
Right.
just go ahead and take a chance and see what else is out there. And on the flip side of it, some of these people really are happy that they made
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
decisions. These people are
Yeah.
really happy that they made these decisions, and I just can't wait to see once all of this stuff wraps up, if it does. And I know I should not say that because some people say it ain't gonna change, but I would just love to see, talk to some of these people and see how they come out on the other end.
It'll be interesting.
Do you feel that this is a rough time to talk about it right now? But do you feel that things are going to get better with this whole pandemic
I
thing?
think I think it's going to be like a perspective thing. So when we say get better, better as in maybe it's better because we are learning how to live with it being here. Better as in maybe we're learning how to adjust to this different way of living.
Yeah.
Better as in it's not so scary as it was in the beginning.
Hmm.
It is still scary, but it's not at the same intensity it was in the beginning. So better in those experiences, but it's still a pain in the butt.
It really is. I mean, the mask thing, I don't know if I ever really can embrace that 100%. Like, some people are
And
cool
see,
with it.
and an introvert like me, I have no problem with masking. I have no problem with 6 feet. It allows people to leave me the heck alone. So I'm okay with that.
I don't mind 6 feet. I don't mind the mask, but I do mind it when I have to talk and be at work and have certain situations like that going
Oh
on.
yeah.
That pisses me off. Now, if you want me to shut my mouth and not say a word and put the mask on, I'm cool all day. Keep me warm. I'm good. I ain't got. But now I got to start talking to people and all this stuff. That really
Yeah, yeah. That is
that takes me.
yeah.
And then the other thing, I don't know if I can get used to 100%. All of these um, vaccinations and everything, and the compliances, and you can't go here and you can't go here and do this and do that without being vaccinated. That's a little
Yeah.
rough. I mean, this is
It's definitely an impact on the quality of life. Absolutely.
yeah. And then another thing, getting tested before you even enter something, and or 2 days before you gotta have this type of test and this and that. That's man, it's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
Craziness. What's going on? I see y'all out there. The lovely, talented, beautiful Lolly Mariah is in the building. Now, I will tell you, one of my favorite songs. I'm gonna keep saying, I know it ain't your latest single, but I love it. Don't take people for granted. Y'all go ahead and check her out. That song is so dope. Check it out, Lolly Mariah. And I see Miss Nordia in the building tonight from Shea of Heaven. What's going on? Oh, we moving up tonight. Now we about to take it there. And I said that I didn't know if we were going to take it there tonight, but we are. So now we talk about relationships and all of that great stuff. And we talked about, how people are portrayed, in this day and age. Now, when it comes to dating people and you get into a relationship, is it better to watch porn with your mate or is it better to create it? Now, are you camera shy?
Ah! So my belief on that, I feel it's better to create it because you are
Wow.
participating in a creative activity. And
Mm.
being that I'm a creative, I love anything where you can create things and you can really create doing this, but you want to make sure it's a safe environment and the person is somebody that you trust that the stuff was not going to get leaked out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you
So
just hit so many good topics. You just hit so many good topics.
like there's so many things you want when you have a safe environment, the person you trust, right?
Hmm.
And then it's like it's free falling. Like you can create the experience the way you want to versus watching it and it's kind of like, okay, we're watching these people do it. Okay, you guys might, do something because whatever, and then it's over. Now you have a piece of art, a piece of work that you've created, that you've participated in, and you've enjoyed. That's yours. You know what I'm saying? So the
Mm.
creative in me says create your own.
All right. Here we go. Now, didn't I say earlier that do you really know your mate? Do you ever really, really, really get to know your mate? So now you around here creating all kinds of stuff. And how do you know you
Now
can
hold
really
on, now I say all kinds now.
how do you know that you can trust? How you know you can trust that it ain't gonna get leaked? I mean,
Like you might even need to set up some, maybe have some paperwork that you sign. Say, okay, I
ah,
trust you and whatnot, but I
that's
need your
true.
John Hancock on here saying if this does get leaked because of you, I'm taking your ass to court. You know what I'm saying? And it's you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself, especially if you hold positions or you do things that if this gets out, it can have an impact on your livelihood. But at the end of the day, there has to be a format of trust. And here's the thing, though, you could be getting videotaped regardless. You know what I'm saying? You, especially if you go into people's houses and whatnot. All of the,
I,
I'm just saying,
I know, I know. One time I was like, wait a minute. I don't think that I'm the
all these
only one.
cameras.
Yeah, I'm looking around the room like something ain't right here.
Yeah.
Something is not right. Are you sure now? But I will tell you that I guess nowadays people love to create. All of these creators out there, everybody has OnlyFans and this and that and next to the other. And I will tell you that for me, I ain't creating nothing. Nothing at all, period. And I'm not sending you nothing. So this whole thing, send me this picture, send me that picture, you ain't getting nothing. Sorry, I can't.
And
Lady,
that's something too. I think that's going to be a topic where they like, what is up with people requesting like
this
oh my goodness,
this is
send me a
what
picture, send me a picture, send me a picture. That is crazy. How many pictures do you need?
this
What
is
are you doing
exactly
with
why
them?
this is exactly why I'm very selective right now. I can't do it. Like you can send me all of the pictures you want, But don't get upset because nobody asked you to send me these pictures. Nobody asked you to DM me all of this stuff. You do what you want to do, but I ain't sending you nothing. I can't
Right,
help.
exactly.
I can't help you with that. So I'm very shocked. I'm very shocked. Shay Heaven says it's better to create. I never knew that we had so many people that would like to create.
The
You can create all you
creativity. I
want,
mean,
but
you can, let's think, you can use paint. Like, you could just go, okay, so that's a whole nother topic.
did you just say paint?
No, never mind. Let's keep going.
Okay, all right. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Now, all right. We still on this dating thing. It's cool. Um, what a great way to end this because we ain't doing this no more. We are not doing these relationship things again. But all right. So when you're dating, I don't know, it's crazy nowadays. What is a reasonable amount of people that you should date at once? One, two, three, four. Like what's reasonable when it's nothing serious? You're just getting out there. You're trying to test the water and see what's what.
So, this is funny that you have me for this question because I'm the unpopular opinion. My two co-hosts are, they talk about the whole rotation and
Rotation.
dating. Oh
What the
yeah,
hell is
dating
that?
multiple people and having a rotation or a team. Um, while I'm completely opposite, I
Mm.
don't have the time or the emotional energy to focus on multiple people at one time. So I'm a pretty much like if there's somebody who meets my standard of what I feel could be a potential mate, that's going to be my focus on building and nurturing and seeing where that goes
Yep.
versus
Yeah, but what?
talking to five people at a time. So,
Okay, now what about this scenario? You meet somebody, and there's nothing serious in the beginning. They got their thing going on, you got your thing going on, but all of a sudden there's a spark. Maybe you got the spark, but they really didn't get the same type of spark. But something's there. They still won't entertain you. So you're putting all your time and your energy, and you're focusing on nurturing this situation. But he might still be seeing other people. How do you handle that? You don't
that's the
know.
conversation. For one, I don't put in more energy that's given in. I reciprocate whatever's coming at me.
Mm,
So if you're doing bare minimum, then I'm doing the minimum.
okay,
And
okay.
as it increases, we'll increase together. Like
Hmm.
I'm not doing that. And it's absolutely fine if you're talking to whomever. But my whole thing is there's only one me. So sooner or later, there's going to be a discussion of, all right, like this has been going on for a certain amount of time. We need to make sure that we're on the same page still, that we want the same things. Because if we don't, then we need to cut our losses sooner rather than later. And
Mm.
wanting the same things means being exclusive because I'm not going to be with somebody who is smashing 4 and 5 other people at the same time. Like, for one, that's a health issue. Um, and two, that's just not what I am looking for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not poly. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to be in a relationship with multiple people. I want to be in a relationship with one person. So if we're not on the same page and we don't want the same things, these discussions have to be had early on. Um, and then you make your decision to maneuver with that information. But that's the thing, people aren't communicating,
Mhm.
so people will get 4 or 5, 6 months down the road and thinking they're in an exclusive relationship,
Mm.
and they're actually not. You're just number 4 on the list, you know? So you have to communicate. And I
Mm.
say sooner rather than later.
What if everyone was just in an open relationship? Like, we know you got something going on over here. I'm not going to control you. I'm going to have my situation over here. And over a period of time, as you continue to play the field over there with no holds bars, ain't nobody getting upset, you do what you want to do. And I got my situation over here. If it's meant to be, you both are going to actually make time for each other, and all those little extra things on the side, they're not going to be that important. And I think that that might be a better way to address it because you are not putting no expectations on anybody.
Yeah, expectations aren't healthy at all. But then the way my jealousy is set up,
But see, you have
that
to teach
I
us.
I
L- Listen,
I just I
I,
just don't need to know. Like, don't let me find out. And
but you know what? I had to teach myself that because I was always real jealous. Now you sitting here talking about jealousy. We'll talk after the show because I was like number one with it. Like you couldn't even. I know that y'all had something going on in the past, and that was way before me. But if that person even so much as look over here in my direction, oh, we getting ready to set it off. Like that's how bad it was. Like it had nothing to do with me. That was 6 years ago. But don't have that person look over here. Don't even have them look in this direction. It's gonna be a problem. But because I knew that that was so unhealthy for me, I went back and I revisited the person that actually triggered that. Like the first person that I really was head over heels over. And I said, so tell me about the people that you were with. And I continued to have those conversations until the anger, the craziness, the rage went away. And even though sometimes I felt a certain way, but I had to teach myself that you don't own people at all. And whatever happened in the past is in the past. And even that person might have cheated on you, and that's cool too. But listen to these stories because that same way that you felt, the next time you get in a situation, you ain't gonna let anybody do that to you. So
right.
talking about the past and hearing some of these relationships and old flings, it actually taught me a little bit because listen, we don't want to be hurt up like that again. So you ain't gonna never let anybody hurt you like that. So don't put so much into it.
Yes, and it's all about boundaries. And people have to have boundaries. You have to stand for something because at the end of the day, whatever you allow to happen to yourself, it's about how you respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And as you increase the respect that you have for yourself, there's going to be behaviors you're just not going to accept.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, it's going back and communicating and unpackaging things to see what's triggering you. But bottom line, the foundation, it needs to be respect for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because when you have that, there's
Mm-hmm.
certain behaviors you won't even look in that direction. Like that's a no go from the jump.
No.
So
Yeah.
you won't even have to deal with those
Yep.
situations, but you've got to start
Mm-hmm.
with yourself.
And then after we get done hearing all of your stories, now comes the fun where I start to tell you all of my stories. And you don't like me telling my stories, so now that's where the game comes into play. But so you should try it.
Yeah.
I think you should try it. But thank you so much for coming on. I
So
appreciate you.
thank
This
you
has
for
been
having me.
real fun, and these burning questions were interesting tonight. And what a great person to handle these with me. I appreciate you.
But thank you so much for having me on.
So go ahead and take us out here. Let us know anything you need to let us know, and where we can follow you again and listen to your podcast.
Absolutely. So you all check out, we're jumping off season 3, January 26th, which is our birthday. The series this season is going to be Healing Together. So
Mm.
we talked about the trauma, we talked about the source of issues that happen within relationships. Now we're talking about the healing together, healing as individuals, healing as a community. So we're going to have some serious topics. Again, it's going to be a balanced conversation. We're bringing on some male full-up co-hosts that you guys definitely want to listen to. They have a lot of different concepts and perspectives that I find very useful for everybody. So definitely check us out there. You can find us again, our website, www.thelookingglass.fans, and also our Instagram and Facebook under the Looking Glass Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Happy New Year, and I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, thanks
All right. Take care.
so much. Bye.
Good night. All right, y'all. So there you have it. That was Miss Michelle from the Looking Glass podcast. Had some great conversation. I want to say what's up to everybody out there. Sweet Bakes Couture, Shay of Heaven, Nordia, what's going on? Thank y'all all for joining in. People out there on TikTok, I've seen a couple people come through. And I just want to let y'all know for some, platforms out there, I know that there's people, I can see some people, and then some people I can't. So, not that I'm ignoring you all. I definitely love each and everybody for coming in and checking me out. I appreciate you. What's going on? Woke by Accident Podcast. What's up? Thank you for coming on in. Let me know where you're actually calling from. All right, y'all. So if you like to support the 411 podcast or Reading Between the Lines, I need you to click that link above all of my social media platforms and check out, my book. I have My Inspirations, Volume 1.5, Deliberation, Remix Journal, a 30-day transformational journey towards a healthier mindset. It is releasing next week, January 3rd. So go ahead and click that link. You can get an autographed copy today via Karma's Paradise or Glam and Bougie Collection. You're going to get yourself a t shirt. You're going to get yourself a poster. You can get some fly shades. You can do it that way. You can also text the keyword remix to 609-738-0611. Again, that is the keyword remix to 609-738-0611. And you'll get a pre order link and you can go ahead and order up your book now before it is available for release Monday. And I just want to say thank you all so much to everybody out there. Facebook, I appreciate the love and support. Instagram, y'all definitely did the thing tonight. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, D Live, Twitch, thank you so much. And of course, I have to thank my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me to come out here and give y'all the 411 podcast one more time in life. So now, talked about how, we're going to change a little bit. We done did the relationship thing for about a year and a half, going on and on and on and on about relationships. So I think tonight served us very well, where Michelle helped us answer some of these burning questions. But, we are going to also go ahead and get into disc two of the 411 podcast, and it's going to be completely different. It's going to go ahead and flip so many people's minds in so many different types of directions. It's going to go hand in hand with my new book, My Inspirations, Volume 1.5. So everything is going to be about transforming your minds and becoming the master of your own mind. No longer staying stuck, repeating the same process over and over and over and over again. So it's a wrap when it comes to the whole relationship issue and, you know, this one did that, that one did that, blah, 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 blah. We've elevated, we've grown. People who've watched, time and time again, night after night, we've all, grown and moved on to a new level. So be on the lookout for 411 Podcast, Disc 2, Transformation, coming real soon. Also, tomorrow, Reading Between the Lines. It's going to be the last show of 2021 for Reading Between the Wines. So you definitely want to come back, grab your bottles, grab your glasses, whatever you got going on. We're going to have a great time sitting back, going through all of the shows that we had for 21. There's going to be lots of laughs. I don't know if my co host is going to make it tomorrow night, but in any case, we're going to listen to some old replays and laugh and have a great time. Right here, 8 o'clock, Reading Between the Wines, Wine Down Wednesday, Wine Wednesday. So I'll see y'all tomorrow at 8 o'clock as we go through 21 in review for Reading Between the Wines. Thank you all so much. I appreciate everybody out there for joining. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Reading Between the Wines. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Good night. Good night. Good night. Take care.